All right, what's up, everybody? Trying to get Cast and Shoot Outdoors back on. He emailed me not too long ago, and hopefully he sees me on. And he said he'll jump on and have another conversation with me. So my wife and my youngest are taking my one of our dogs to the vet, and upstairs the other dog is crying because they left without her, and that doesn't happen very often. And so that's why still, I mean, it's been like 20 minutes and my other dog upstairs is crying and sitting right by the door. It's pretty impressive. Let me see. Click to start the iPhone. Look at this. Oh, the audio is not going to be at. But I'm going to show you. All right, so see if I can get back on here. All right, we're back on, but you can see my other dog is upstairs and she's crying, waiting for the other dog to get back. So when they come back, it's time for dinner. But I figured I'd jump on here and try to get Cast and Shoot Outdoors. If you're out there, click the link. I'm going to copy the link. I'm going to paste it into the chat or the comments, I believe. I'm going to add this to the broadcast. So type this in. If you can't click the link, type this in. Jump on and let's have a conversation. I say debate me, but I've never really debated. You know, I just want to have a conversation and I'll answer all your questions. You answer, I'm going to ask you why you still eat animals. Give me a reason. What's the reason to go kill and eat animals? So, come on. Cast and Shoot, if you're there, click the link, man, or the email in the comments, or what I emailed you. Jump on, and let's talk about it. Or those of you watching right now, go ahead and click the link, jump on, let's talk, and let's have a conversation. Or type this in, https guest.ecam live. There's a number or some letters. Go ahead. You'll come on. Let me see if he emailed. So, but I never sent it? No way. All right, now it's off. All right, but either way, got some weird feedback. Justify eating animals. That's it. I mean, that's what I don't think you can do it. There's not a good enough reason for you to kill and eat an animal. You don't have to. And that's the first thing I'll have a conversation with you about is you don't have to. There's really no reason. You don't have to. It's not necessary. So I think first you got to get over that. You got to understand that that's the truth. You got to understand that you could be super healthy without eating any animals. The plants, what we're cooking upstairs, I'll share that with you. Vegetables, they're in these bags, a bunch of plants, onions, carrots I saw in there, other vegetables, mixed it with some noodles. We got breaded tofu, so made crispy tofu. This will all mix together with this soy sauce or this Japanese sauce that's very flavorful. It's delicious. And what else I see up there? I forget, but the meals are incredible. Ava's an incredible cook. You know, you find ways to make incredible food, and that's what we don't miss eating animals at all. It's they're just so good. So, you can do it. Been doing it over 8 years. Work out, lift, strong, healthy. So it's not an excuse like you don't need to. So it's a difference if you needed to. And this is the hardest hump for me to get over. So it'll be hard for me to move on once you understand that you don't need to. All right, here's August. My man. You're in the green room?
Is this working?
Let
Is
me
this
see.
working?
You there, August?
Yep. Is it working?
Yeah, buddy, what's up?
I saw you wanted someone to come on, so I was available. So
Can you hear me now?
I
Uh-oh.
can hear you.
You can?
I can, yes.
All right, cool.
I'm outside, so it might be a little loud, but
All right, sweet, man. Well, cool, man. Thanks for coming back on.
yeah.
All right, so day 2 talking to you.
Yeah.
What'd you think, man? Anything change? Anything like you think of any other questions or any some of your responses from yesterday?
You had me thinking a bit, and I thought about what you said about justifying it,
Yep.
and it made me think, like, with cars polluting the earth, does like a mean of transportation justify that? And like with factories in China, underpaid workers in tough conditions with cheap prices, does that justify it? I was just thinking.
Wait, so let me just make sure I understand the so that's what you're saying. I missed the justification there. Can you
So like with cars, it pollutes the earth, but it's a mean of transportation. Does that justify polluting the earth? And with factories in China
Oh,
with
I see.
underpaid workers and stuff.
Okay, I see. So you're
Tough
saying,
conditions.
driving cars. Well, I think how I would answer that is I think we all have to live. We're all in this position in our circumstance that we have families, we live in certain areas, most of us, right? I mean, we go to work, we drive. I think we still have to live our lives, right? No one's, so I can't say, I gotta quit my job because cars pollute the earth, and I'm going to walk. But meanwhile, I mean, I'm not sure that that's reasonable, given the situation most of us are in. So to me, I mean, I think you do the best that you can. I don't think you go get a big polluting car and drive that. I think, and obviously not a lot of people or most people can't just stop what they're doing and go buy, say an electric car if they think that that's going to be better for the environment.
Yeah, but like hunting and fishing is like part of my life, if you see what I mean.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's a part of your life. I mean, but it doesn't necessarily have to be, right? So no one's like forcing you to go out to live your normal life, to survive, right? Or to make money or to do, go to school or do the things that you're doing. You know, that you have to get there. You gotta travel. And I'd say the polluting, you're not actually harming or hurting anyone else in a way, right? I mean, if the environment is, you're not like, everyone gets to breathe the air. I'm not taking away your ability to breathe. But what we
Yeah,
are doing, we're taking away the animal's ability to live. We're affecting someone else. And I think that's where the difference is.
yeah. So, with what was I gonna say? You can ask a question if you like.
Okay. Yeah, no, that was a good question. I think that's, I think that was a real good question. So I hope I answered it, and at least
Yeah.
if you understood it. Um, so I think that let me stay on the hunting thing because that's kind of where you even talked about it in your question. You said that it's actually a part of your life. Do
Yeah.
you think that? Do you think that because it's a part of your life, or you look forward to that? Do you think that you can kind of change that thing or that event that you do to something else that doesn't affect or kill another being and still have memorable moments and spend time with your family? But do you think it could be an event where, or a a place where you don't harm another being?
I see what you're going at. I think the answer to that is yes, but not in the same way.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
So, the feelings you get when you're hunting and the memories are way different than like the memories you get like going camping or at like a sporting event.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be different because I think that they're different, things that happen, right? I think you're going to feel different at a basketball game or an event, going to a professional basketball game with your family than saying going to like a water park. I think it's different experiences. But I think the difference
Yeah.
is that experience causes another individual, another being that can experience life. It causes that individual to have pain and suffering and to get, to lose its only ability to experience life. And you and I don't know what that experience is like, but we know that they experience, that they have eyes, that they have ears, they have a brain, they have a central nervous system. They certainly run from pain. I'm gonna say they die, they bleed out, and looking at trying to say like that's like me, right? Like we have ears, nose, eyes, a brain. It's connected. We bleed out. We can die. We know that about them. We know that about these animals. And when my pleasure or my experience shouldn't, and I'd say doesn't have to, come from the expense of another being's life or pain and suffering.
With it being like you, I can see how you think that in some ways, but deer in the wild, they're adapted to like run from predators. They know like they don't they're not like they're not like how do I put this? They're not like when a coyote gets, let's say there's a doe with 3 fawns. If a coyote gets one of the fawns, I mean, it's not going to want that to happen, but the deer's not going to be affected. The mother deer. Like, they don't have, like, the same feeling as we do.
Okay, but forget the mother, forget the brothers and the sisters and all the other deer that are running with it. Let's focus on the actual deer that gets shot, that loses its life, that experiences that pain that you said you shot that animal yesterday. You mentioned that it died within 15 seconds. right? 15 seconds of bleeding out. You said shot it in one of their lungs, and it took 15 seconds to run off so many yards, to collapse, and ultimately die, take its last breath.
Well, deer have adapted to, like, they don't, they're not as soft as humans are when it comes to pain as well. If you know what I mean.
They're not as soft.
Like, they can take more pain than a human could.
I mean, because they can take enough pain, or a lot of pain, or they're hard to kill. I mean, we're still causing another being that can feel pain and can show emotion, knowing that they're hurt and they're wounded. Does that? I mean, why do we don't have to do that?
I think hunting can be necessary in some areas. Depends on the area. Like a lot of areas with no natural predators, like I said yesterday. No coyotes or anything, you know?
You're saying in some areas it's okay to hunt because that's, they have that's their only means of getting food.
Well, in some areas it can be necessary to keep the population in control.
Oh, you're saying okay, it's still okay for humans to do it if they're in areas where the deer are taking over and they're. I mean, what do you? Let's. I guess we got to define what they're actually doing. When you say that they're taking over, what is that? What does that populate? What does that exactly mean?
So when there's no natural predators, one doe will have around 3 fawns. So let's say you have like 5 doe, right? That's 15 fawns. The next year, it's going to be more and more. Eventually, there will be no food left, and with all the deer, it will, like I said yesterday, car wrecks, and they'll have no food left basically, and they'll starve to death.
Okay, and so that's going to cause that's a reason why we should make it like okay to actually sell licenses and try to make money off of people that we say like, all right, we're going to sell you this hunting license, and you're going to go out and you're able to kill these animals because
So
we deem them harmful, because we don't want to get you guys into accidents.
the
And
way the way the game commission works is they they own every game animal. They're basically they're selling when they give you a tag, they're selling one animal. What they do is they take surveys and they count the populations and they sell the amount of tags of deer that and other animals that need to like die for the population to be in check.
wow.
And then those funds go towards the wardens who keep the rules good.
So
Like I didn't say that right.
So no, I mean, let me back up on your because number one, I didn't know that. I think that's fascinating that you said, your position or your view of it is that they own those animals. They
They
own
do.
basically kill tags. They're like, we own them. Here, you can have a right or the ability to go shoot and kill this animal because we own them. Like that's our property. Would you say that
It
that's correct?
it is they are property of the game commission, yes.
Well, you said the game commission, right? I want to assume that's like a group of people that vote to make this happen.
The game commission is pretty much, you know what a game warden is?
A game warden to me sounds like a person that's like you know kill. I don't know, like one
So
person.
a game warden is basically a police officer of hunting.
How many game wardens are there? Do you know a game warden? Is anybody in your family a game warden?
No. There's not many game wardens in my state. There's usually like 2 to 3 per county, maybe 4
All right, these
in
guys,
some.
police officers or gals of police officers, or they go out and they make sure that you have your tags, like the correct tags. Like you got your
They make
kill tag.
following the rules, yeah, based
Okay.
on seasons and stuff. Yeah.
I mean, if there's only 4, I mean, I feel like there's going to be a lot of places where I could go and shoot and kill animals, and these 4 game wardens aren't going to be, out there
Well, 4
policing.
is maybe for the smaller counties. There's usually one in near every state game land, so I guess that would be a lot more than 4. But I've never seen like more than 5 maybe on a county though.
All right, that's interesting. So,
It's they
but
basically just drive around. They have a patrol like coverage, and they drive around hunting lands, and they just make sure nobody's messing with the rules.
all right, I mean, but that's great, but I think let me back up and say like that because they do that and they make sure that you abide by these legal rules. I still go back to like what like the game commission or these people are selling these kill tags. We make it legal. Like we're saying, you think it's right that these people have ownership or property of these animals that again we talk about those senses that each one has, and they're saying that you get to go out and shoot whether with a gun, I'll sell you a tag for that, or whether as a bow and arrow, 2 different ways to kill or take this animal's life. You're going to pay us to be able to do that. So I'm going to sell you. Basically, I'm making money. It's like running a business out of, you're paying me to go kill these animals. And so you're essentially perpetuating the more violence and more killing of individual animals, of their lives.
Hunting license money and all that. Some of it goes towards game wardens to pay them because they have to be paid, and the rest of it goes towards wildlife conservation.
Okay, so we go back, and this is, I think we can take the conversation into like what conservation is. We're saying that we're giving the money back, so we're saying that we're doing a good thing. Like we're giving back to the environment and to these animals' lives that we take. Like, we're able to allocate money and funds for people to do this for a living to try to take care of the environment. But I think it's ironic that we try to take care of the environment and the plants or we call it the animals, but we're actually killing the animals. We're actually like we're saying that okay, we're okay to kill the animals and take away their life, even though they didn't do anything to us, right? They're not trying to harm us. They're not trying to, they're not trying to. Yeah, they're really not trying to harm us. They're really just living their lives as best that they know how, just like you're trying to live your life as best you know how, and so I just find that to be, not a good justification to be able to like take care of the environment, but we're gonna kill these animals' lives.
Well, part of taking care of the environment is shooting the animals. Like, it all goes back to that.
Wait, say that again real quick though for me.
Part of wildlife conservation is shooting the animals. You can't have too many of one species in an ecosystem. The Game Commission basically just makes sure that doesn't happen by managing how many tags and stuff go out each year.
Do you think that that's like we should be able to take away, like kill a certain species because to take care of the land that they live in?
It so here's an example. Yellowstone National Park, you know that place?
Yeah,
Heard of it?
Yellowstone, right? It's a national park.
Yep. So there's no hunting there, no humans, right?
Okay, I believe, I'm not sure for sure, but that sounds right. Why would there
You
be,
have to
right?
special tags. So there's elk there, right? The
Okay.
elk, when they created the national park, they took out all wolves, basically destroying the ecosystem, right? So then the elk were overpopulated and stuff, and the people managing the park saw this. They added, I think, 5 wolves back in, and just like that, the ecosystem was back in balance. Like, it affected the flow of rivers and everything. There's a whole video on it.
Okay, so you're saying by leaving nature alone, or not, or putting it back to the natural, I guess the right number of animals out there, it takes care of itself.
Well, the problem is now, in that place, everything is balanced, right? But in places like where I live, there's no natural predators for the deer, you know? So basically, they're they're all gone basically when humans came in and built all their stuff. All the predators just got wiped out.
Okay, the natural predators, right? The wolves. We're talking the wolves.
Well, there's no. I was talking about coyotes for my
And
house.
coyotes, right? So you're saying animals that prey on other animals. We took those out because you got to have people live there, right? And you can't have wolves and bears and other things outside that are gonna hurt us, kill us, right?
So, fun fact: coyotes are actually invasive. So, stuff like that.
Invasive. What does that mean?
So, invasive is they're not supposed to be here. Like, at least where I live, they're
Okay.
native to a lot of states.
Okay.
They're not native to where I live.
Okay.
So, the Game Commission basically they put no limit on them. They just want you to, there's like basically no rules on killing them. They just want you to help uh, get rid of them because they were not naturally here, and they're messing up with the ecosystem and stuff.
Okay. So they want people to go out and kill these animals.
Yes.
Okay. So let's put ourselves in the wolves position, right? So you're someone that has, like, someone has deemed you invasive, meaning like we're going to put a kill tag on you being a wolf, right? That wolf did nothing different than living its life. I mean, it was born and it came to be, and its existence, right? I mean, if I'm going to say that it's a life, it has an experience. And we're saying that, hey, we humans, we can kill those animals, right? So how would you want to be on that other side of that? Like, regardless of the invasive or being deemed invasive, would you want somebody, or them, the other people that can make the decision to do that or to go out and kill you? Would you agree to that? Would you be okay with that?
Well, if you're really wanting to go into the other person's shoes, the intelligence of a wolf wouldn't really be able to comprehend that. But I'll go for what you want. I think I don't like. Let's say I'm a wolf. I'm invasive, and people try to kill me. Right? I I would not want to be killed, but I would just let nature do its thing. Let let what happens happen. You
All
know?
right, nature do its thing, but we aren't natural, like in a sense of like we're that's not the natural part of, like, we're not born predators, and we're not
Yeah.
born to do that. And so it's definitely not natural for us to go out and kill an animal. And right, like, we're not a wolf, right? You know that, like, we're definitely not that type of species.
Humans have been the apex predators for a long time. We've evolved as omnivores from hunter and gatherers. It started all there. We ate, like, berries. We would hunt mammoths, all sorts of wild animals for food. And it just evolved like that.
I'd agree with you. I'd say that we came to where we are right now, 2025. And like I said, I mean, we got cars flying around here, right? These cavemen didn't have cars, airplanes flying around, right? Like,
Yeah.
none of the technology that they had or was back then. So I'm saying, on the decision today, like where we are, 2025, and the knowledge that we have, right? I think that we're not living in that time anymore. So I'm saying that, like, our great 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 grandfathers, right? We're out there, shooting animals and bringing it back to the caves, to the family, and however, all our history goes back there, right? They didn't have stores to go to, or, plants to go eat from the stores and drive to, or even get it shipped to your house, right? They weren't in that decision, or they didn't have to make that decision. But here we are, 2025. I feel like we can make that decision. We have the ability to choose, right? We have options. So nothing is forcing us to do that, right? And I think you mentioned that the apex predator, like, it's we certainly, let's just say that we were or are, morally, doesn't mean that we can go out and just kill whatever animals we want, and to do whatever we want to these animals. I feel like that is a huge, like, just because we can do it and we're smart enough to do it. I mean, we're smart enough to breed animals into existence, to manufacture a whole operation just so I can produce as many animals as possible, to feed them, to fatten them up as fast and fat as possible, using ingredients that, or crops that, I'm going to say, try to reduce that amount of money, to make sure that manufacturing line goes as fast as possible, and to kill as many animals as possible, because I got to send them out to, like, people just keep buying it, right? Like, I'm going to say we're addicted to it, but it's more animals' lives that we're breeding them into existence. So I think that we are super smart, and we have manufactured other beings' lives so that we can have a snack.
Well, humans have already established themselves in the ecosystem. You know what I mean? How I said with the wolves, they already established themselves in the ecosystem. And when you take them away, things happen.
Who's already established? You mean humans already established their role in the ecosystem?
They have, yeah.
Do you
I'm
think
not
that
talking about farming with this.
you're not talking about who?
Farming. I'm talking about hunting and fishing.
Okay. So again, back to, keeping on the hunting, the fishing.
I
We're
don't
saying,
support like that. I'd rather eat hunted meat.
okay. Well, I mean, I think that's
I
fair.
eat farm meat, but I prefer to eat hunted meat.
Okay, but you still do, and I think that becomes where you're supporting that, right? So in a sense, like you're being like you're saying that you don't support that, but yet you are supporting it, like somewhat, like just a even though it's just a little, you're
I said
still.
I don't like supporting it, but when I run out of hunted meat and stuff,
All right, so when you run out of you don't want to, but sometimes I guess you say you have to, or do you think that you can choose plant options during that, would you say couple months?
yeah, I'd say it's a couple months. I'm out of deer meat right now. Like I said, the coyotes got my deer.
Right.
I would still have deer meat right now, but I only got maybe 5 pounds of deer meat.
5 pounds.
The
That doesn't seem
coyotes,
like it. That doesn't seem like it will last, a family long time.
it did not.
All
My
right. So
family is not like big on the game meat. It's mainly me, but
okay. So, but 97% of the time you're having food cooked from, like grocery store meat or steaks and burgers.
yeah, I eat what my family provides. So, you
Yeah,
know.
that's fair. That's fair. Um, you ever talk to him about it?
Well, I don't think we're in the wanting to go vegan. I think my parents went vegetarian for a little, but
Really? I think we
for
should ask
Lent.
them.
It was
We
for
should ask
Lent.
them why they wanted to go or why they went vegetarian in the first place.
That was because Lent, we're Catholic and stuff. We give stuff up for Lent. They gave up meat for Lent.
I see. So I mean, I say, do you give up like a bad thing for Lent? Is that part of it? Like, is it bad or is it supposed to be like a bad habit?
Well, I think they did it because, like, they wanted to see if they wanted to do it full time. I think they got through Lent and they didn't want to. But you just give up stuff that, like you, like I give up candy for Lent, you know?
Yeah, man. I think we all should give up candy. That's sugar is just terrible for you.
Yeah.
That's awful. That's definitely a drug for sure.
Yeah.
But I think the thing is that like candy doesn't affect us, right? Candy doesn't affect another being, whereas like eating meat or going out hunting, like you're killing or you're causing pain and suffering to an animal that again wasn't attacking you, wasn't I'm gonna say harming you personally. And so that's where I think that I think that animal should have the inherent right to their own body, and that nobody like no nothing should give us or another human the right to take that from them.
I don't think that there's a diet that's completely free of killing animals, you know? Vegan. I mean all diets contribute to this, like except carnivore, I guess. But when you plant farms and stuff, you know?
Well, hold on. Let me just go back to the carnivore diet, right? I mean, like you're literally eating an animal, and that animal
Oh,
had to die in order for
well,
you
I
to
was
eat.
talking about contributing to the farm animals dying. Like the not the ones that are harvested for meat, but the ones that die in like the harvesting and stuff. Like harvesting crops.
So you're
Like
talking the animals that die in harvesting for crops?
yes. Yeah.
All right, but I'd say that those people that are eating the meat in the first place, right? Like again, those crops are, like they have to farm those crops to feed them. So all the same crop deaths that are happening to grow plants for humans, I'd say that those crops those animals are dying because also by the people that contribute or eat meat because they're supporting that. Like
Yeah.
those same animals are dying. So given one, given the other, right? Like they're both kind of on this equal playing field, right? Like there is no we do contribute to animal deaths while producing crops, whether you eat plants or whether you eat animals or both. I'm just saying that we should be able to. What's the best choice to make? What's the least amount of harm?
Here's another thing with hunting. When you kill one animal, right, and you get a bunch of meat, you know, with the store, buying meat from the store, you're contributing to many animals dying because you're buying multiple packs of meat, you know? Like you're
Okay,
eating
you're comparing
more.
a meat eater that goes to the store versus a hunter. You're
A
saying
hunter
it.
will kill less animals than someone who just eats meat from the store.
Okay, I, you, I mean, let's say that that's correct. Let's say that that's great. If you're saying that one, like, I'm harming only one animal, right, from a numbers perspective, then more animals through the supermarket way, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I think that's like, what about the individual animal that was killed, right? Like even if it's less, what makes their lives to them, less important than the lives lost, versus like a lot of the species animals' lives lost.
Well, yeah, but oh shoot, my phone's low again. Here, can we change? I wanted to talk to you about fishing a little today too.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
talk about that real quick. We can talk about what we were talking about
Yep.
another time. So I saw you post some videos about fishing. Do you live right on a river or
We do.
lake?
Yep. We do.
If I lived there, I would be fishing every day.
Well, I mean, when my kids are younger, I got a great picture of my oldest holding a largemouth bass. Like I
Yeah.
got it right up to his face. That's a great picture. So I mean, I
Did
used
he
to
catch?
fish, and my dad used to fish. We used to go to called Burnham Park, catch trout, and we used to bring them home. I had sunny fishes too.
Yeah.
I caught sunnies, but
Trout.
we brought the trout home and we smoked it in our smoker and we
Nice.
ate it.
Yeah, I like eating trout. They're good.
I do remember it being very tasty, but I didn't like the bones in there, and I think I ate a couple bones, and it just didn't feel right, and so I really never, I never really got really into fish. I think trout is the only,
I ate a
tuna
largemouth
fish,
once.
obviously. What's
I
that?
will never eat a largemouth again.
You will never eat
They do
what?
not a largemouth bass. They do
Oh,
not
I never.
taste good.
Yeah, see, I never ate bat. We never ate it. Um, we
Tastes
we
like lake.
we put it back.
I
So in
did it.
fact, since we've been here, I never killed or eaten any of the fish here, even though people do.
Yeah. So, are you against catch and release as a
I
vegan?
certainly I like that option. If you're gonna fish, I'd love for you to get it back in the water as fast as possible. Only because I think that having a hook, and I mean just the act alone of fishing, of having a hook in a lip, and being out, caught and pulled out of your environment, right? You're normally living in the water, and now you're completely out and you can't breathe, and you're looking around, you have no idea what's going on. And I'm gonna say fish can feel pain, and so in their experience. So I certainly don't think that we should do that for fun and to take pictures. I just don't think that we should have the right to do that. I think we should leave the fish and let them swim around. And if we want to go down there and look at them, I find that that's pretty cool. If they're you can go down there and look at them. But we should
Now
leave
is
them alone.
you could, if you walk down on the bank, you'll probably see some
Oh yeah, we
on
see them
bed.
jump out. We see them jump out. We got a bunch of wildlife back there, man, and it's pretty. It's awesome, man. We see a lot of birds. We see eagles. In fact, I got a video of an eagle. There was a goose that was injured on it when the river froze over. There's a goose that was injured, and we really didn't know what to do. We didn't know if we wanted to go out and kind of help it or see or kind of look further, but it was there maybe 2 days. And then my son got a video of basically the back end of an eagle of trying to, claw it. It was already dead, but claw it and fly off with it. And, I'd say felt bad obviously for the goose, but that to me is nature. That's nature. Like that's natural. That
Yeah.
happens. I don't like it. I mean, I feel bad, but that's what those animals are supposed to do.
Yeah. So I bass fish a lot. You might have seen some of my videos. The first two, I think,
I think I've seen a couple. Yeah.
on
Yep.
bass fishing. So what I do, I normally just, if it's a little one, I just throw it back. I unhook it as quickly as possible and throw it back.
I think that's great, man. If you're gonna fish, and yeah, don't I'd say try to put that bass back at as fast as possible because I don't think it could breathe when it's outside water.
So with the bigger one though, I want to hear your thoughts on this. If it's big enough, I have a scale that I put it on to see how much it weighs, and then I'll get a quick pick and throw it back. With the bigger fish though, I make sure it swims off. Like instead of just like dropping it in, I gently let it in the water and let it swim out of my hand.
Okay, so you try to get a weight of it.
Unless it's bleeding, I won't do that.
Okay. Why? Why specifically?
It's pretty common among bass fishermen to weigh your fish. Like it's kind of like. So, what sport did you play, or have you played, or do
So I
you watch them?
baseball got me into college, and all my sons play soccer, and I also used to play soccer, and I used to wrestle too, but not through high school. But basically, baseball and soccer.
So let's say baseball. You pitch the ball, right? And you track how fast it goes.
Okay.
And you have a record, right?
Oh yeah, I think that's cool, and yep, absolutely.
That's kind of how it is in bass fishing. You get a record, you know?
All right, but let me go back to baseball and that sport. You're not actually causing another person pain or suffering.
Yeah.
To get that record, I just need to throw a baseball, get a piece of equipment to to see how fast it was, and then boom, that's my record. But I'm not actually like punching someone in the face because to get that speed, right? Like I wouldn't say that that's a good a thing to be doing, especially against someone's will, right? Against what to their body, and if they don't want to be hit, then we shouldn't be causing pain and suffering to others. So, to me, I think getting the scale and weighing the bass, like we're that's causing that bass harm, pain, and suffering, especially from what we can reason.
I have done some research on that, and bass do not have like the same kind of nervous system mammals do, and they don't have certain brain uh, structures that feel pain the same way. So I researched it. When fish are on a hook, they don't feel really pain. Same thing when they're out of water, it's just stress.
Okay, that's interesting. As um, let's say I go by the benefit of the doubt rule, right? Like I don't know. I'm not for certain. It certainly doesn't look like it could feel good. They also bleed, right? Like I remember fish bleeding, and I know that
When you,
like when we
yeah,
bleed, we hurt. Like I mean, it's a cut, but to me, I'm going off the benefit of the doubt that it at least causes them uncomfortable and, like you said, stress. And I think that why contribute or what makes it right or moral if, like, for me to cause stress and harm and pain and suffering, even it might be just stress, I am certainly taking or because of my pleasure, like it's fun. I get to hold it up and have a record and show my friends and put it on Instagram and share it with the world, like at that person's or that other beings, in this case fish, at their expense. I don't find a good justification or for that other, like, it's fun. To me wouldn't feel comfortable or not, like that doesn't align with what my morals are. I don't think our fun should be, at someone else's expense.
yeah,
So
yeah,
what I'd be in favor of is a bunch of, like, and now I think we can do this. Like Elon Musk could do this of, like, put all these robot fish, different weights, put them into a big ocean or a river, a pond, a lake, and have tournaments where people go and catch fish, but it doesn't affect them, right? Like they're just robots.
yeah.
So they don't have a brain, they don't have feelings, right? I think I'd be way in favor of that, and I don't think we're too far away from things like that.
I gotta go soon. I'm at 2%, but here's something cool. There's this cool thing in most archery shops called Techno Hunt. It's this screen. It displays an animal on there, and you get to shoot at it. It's like a target, but
Love
it's
it.
like a video shoot
What
at.
about if your family, if your uncle and grandfather, if you got like you got all packed up and you drove and you spent, nice hotel or campground, and then you got up and then you shot and you did that as an event.
Yeah, that would be. I would. I'd do that. Yeah, there's also this thing called 3D archery. Actually, I might be able to show you. I have a 3D archery target. I think it might be too dark. I have it right here. You might be able to see it. Probably not. It's too dark. But it's just a deer. It's a foam deer that I shoot at with my bow every day.
Dude, that's awesome. That's super cool. And the reason why I think that's awesome is that it's not, you're not hurting anybody. You're not hurting an actual deer. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I love
I
that.
mean, to train to make sure I make good shots when I do go
Okay,
hunting. But
you're doing it to, like, but to still kill the
I do it.
animal. You do it to what?
I do it for fun. So me and my brother will go out and shoot every day.
Okay, so you do
Shoot
it
at
for
the.
fun. I think that's great, man. I think the fun isn't at someone else's expense, right?
Yeah.
I think that is fantastic. I think we should keep doing more of that, and not actually harming or killing real animals that have feelings and experiences. That would be my big push.
Yeah. All right.
You know.
I gotta end it here. I'm at 1%.
All right, man. Hey, appreciate the conversation, August, man. Let's do it again, man. Love
Yeah.
your questions. Keep coming
Yeah.
up with questions, and yeah, man. Let's do it again, buddy. All right.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, man. Have a great night.
Too. Bye.
All right, bye. Yo, so there you have it. Conversation with Cast and Shout Outdoors. My man, great questions. I think it's fantastic. I appreciate him, asking me questions, having the conversations, going back and forth. 13 years old. He's, he came across my videos and we set this up. And so we're answering his questions. I'm asking him some questions and I think it's great. So August, appreciate you coming on and asking me some questions, having a conversation. So really appreciate it. We're almost at an hour here, so I'm gonna head back upstairs or go upstairs. We're gonna have some dinner, and yeah, man. So we'll see you in the next video, next conversation. But hope that made some sense. I think I was able to articulate some of my answers better than I have been in a while, so I'm excited because I never really got to fully answer, in a question like format like this. So I really would want to, have more conversations with different people, different questions, or if you want to send your questions on the comments here or send them at support@quiteatinganimals.com. I'll be able to answer them, but would love to come up here and have a conversation with more of you, especially those that you continue to eat animals. And, let's share a little bit about why. All right. So that's all I got for today. I'll maybe jump on later, but it's almost 9 o'clock here Eastern time. We got the hot tub going, and that's going to be the plan for tonight. All right, guys. So until then, quit eating animals. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.